Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam video class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. So we are discussing from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we completed the 20th chapter. So we'll begin with the chapter number 21, which is entitled Conversation between Manu and Kardam. Want to switch on the AC? You can do that. Okay. So the conversation between Manu and Kardam is about to start. So in the last chapter, we heard how Swayambhu Manu, he is moving in his kingdom because he wants a suitable match for his daughter. And on the other hand, Kardam Muni, he is worshipping the Supreme Lord on the instructions of Brahmaji. So far we have discussed how Swayambhu Manu's dynasty is being described. The story of Kardam Muni and Devahuti is about to come. So Swayambhu Manu was created by Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji asked, Swayambhu Manu asked Brahmaji, I think remote, no? Oh, remote is somewhere there only. Yeah. So Swayambhu Manu asked Brahma, please give me some place so that I can put the living entities, because the Bhumandal is not there. So then as Brahmaji is thinking, a small entity appears from the nostril of Brahma, and that is Varahadev. And then 13th chapter describes Shwet Varaha. Then 14th to 19th chapter describes Nila Varaha. In that, the fight between Hiranyaksha and Varahadev is described, and the pregnancy of Diti and all that is described. And then 20th chapter described the creation. So that's how this conversation is continuing. And now in the beginning of the 21st chapter, Swayambhu Manu is about to ask something from, Vidura is about to ask something from Maitreya Muni. So in this 21st chapter, Lord, it will be described how Lord becomes satisfied with the prayers of Kardam Muni, and he tells that I already know your desires. You are worshipping me to get a suitable wife, you will get that. So Vidura, he asks about the dynasty of Swayambhu Manu. I think I didn't put on the chat, right? The verses which we are about to. Okay, I'll just put. So naturally in this chapter, Vidurji, he asks further question about Swayambhuva Manu, the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. So that is what we'll be discussing today. So just 1 minute. I'll just put the okay. So Vidura, he asks Maitreya Muni. So we'll decide the first verse. Vidura uvacha Swayambhuvasya cha mano vamshas parama sattamaha katyatam bhagavan yatra maithune dhire prajaha dhire praja. So he's asking Maitreya Muni, oh Maitreya Muni, please describe the beautiful and the wonderful dynasty of Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhuvasya cha manor vamshaha paramasattama. The dynasty of Swayambhu Manu is a very great dynasty. So therefore, Kathyatam Bhagavan Yatra, O Supreme, O worshipful sage, I beg you, please describe me how this dynasty started. So interesting thing is, Vidura is a renunciant and Maitreya is a renunciant. He is a detached sage. And they are discussing sex life of a king. So it looks very weird, you know. Two renunciants are discussing, he is asking, please tell me how they procreated children. So what is the actual thing? Why he is asking this? Because this dynasty deals with the dynasty of pure devotees. So Vidura is not interested in hearing about any king of the world, you know. He is interested in hearing about the dynasty of pure devotees. So Prabhupada writes, actually, Vidura was not interested in hearing the history of persons who are engaged in sex life. But because he was interested in Swayambhu Manu, because in that dynasty, good devotee kings appeared. So that is how our devotee is. He is interested only in Krishna Katha. Why we discuss about Kurukshetra? It is an ordinary war, the Mahabharata war. But why we discuss about this? Because in that Krishna is involved and the devotees are involved. So therefore, Krishna Katha and Vaishnava Katha, they both are equally important, equally purifying. Shrutasya pumsam shuchirashramasya nanvanjasa suribhiridito artha tat gunano shravanam mukunda padarvindam hridayeshu yesham. If a devotee is endeavoring to hear from the spiritual master, what he should hear? He should hear about the glories of the devotees. Gunanu Shravanam Mukunda Padarvinda. Those who have taken Krishna in their lotus feet of Krishna in their heart, we should hear about them. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, the important word used in this connection is Parama Sammataha. That means this dynasty was approved by great authorities. It was not an ordinary dynasty. So in the 13th chapter also, Vidura, he asked about Swayambhu Manu. And he says there, Charitam Tasya Rajarasher Adi Rajasya Sattama. He is the original king. Please tell me about the glorious life of Swayambhu Manu. He is Adi Raj because Vishwaksena Ashrayo Hiyasao, because he has taken shelter of Vishwaksena. He has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. So that is the important thing about Swayambhu Manu's dynasty. So it doesn't matter if a person is a grihastha or renunciant. Important thing is if he is a devotee. So that's how devotee katha is equally important as Krishna katha. And it has both have same effect. One time Jai Gaurang Prabhu, he was telling Prabhupada disciple that one time somebody asked Prabhupada, what if at the end of the life we don't remember Krishna and we remember you? What will be the effect? Will it have the same effect? So Prabhupada closed his eyes, thought for a few seconds, and then he said, yes, that's all right. So that's how the devotee, hearing about the pastimes of devotee or the Lord, they both have same effect. So therefore Vidura is asking, please tell me about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu and describe about the two sons, Priyavrat and Uttanpad, because they lived their life according to the religious principles and they ruled the 7 islands. The entire Jambudvipa and entire Bhumandal is ruled by the sons of Swayambhuva Manu. So please tell us about that also. So therefore, the word used is, Prabhupada writes that these activities are worth hearing, Shravaniya. They are worth hearing. All the things of the world, they are not worth hearing. Only topics of Krishna and topics of devotees, they are worth hearing because that katha will purify the heart. So therefore, he asks first about the two sons of Swayambhuva Manu, and then he asks, please tell us about the famous daughter Devahuti and how Kardam Muni begot children in her. So that Kardam Muni, he was a great devotee and he was a great yogi. So fourth verse, it's there in the list, fourth verse. Tasyam savai mahayogi yuktayam yoga lakshanaihi sasarja katidha viryam tanme shushrushabe vada. So Tasyam vai Mahayogi, Kardam Muni was a great yogi. He was such a powerful yogi. He created a whole flying mansion. It will come in the future discussion. So Kardam Muni was a Mahayogi, great mystic, and Devahuti was Yoga Lakshan. She was also not an ordinary lady. She was also a very advanced lady, advanced in yoga, Yoga Lakshana. So therefore, please tell us how Kardam begot children in her. And then he asks the further things. How did Ruchi and Daksha generate children after getting married to the other daughters? So Swayambhuva Manu had 5 children, 2 sons and 3 daughters. 2 sons are Priyavrat and Uttanpad, and 3 daughters are Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. So in this canto, third canto, only one child is described, that is Devahuti. And as you can see in the previous slide, it is there on the slide. So Devahuti is described in this chapter, and Akuti will be described in 4th canto, 1st chapter. Then Prasuti will be described in 1st chapter to 2nd chapters of the 4th canto. And the daughter of Prasuti is Sati. And the famous story of Daksha and Sati comes there, the entire pastime. Then Uttanpad will be described in the 4th canto, 8 to 31st chapters. The entire dynasty of Uttanpad. So son of Uttanpad is Dhruva. And then son of Dhruva is, there is a person, Uttam. Sorry, I also forgot. So in Dhruva's dynasty, there is a king called Prithu. Prithu we know. Then further dynasty of the Prithu goes Prachina Barhishat. Then Prachina Barhishat's sons are Prachetas. So that's how the entire 4th canto describes the dynasty of Uttanpad. Then the 5th canto describes the dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. So that's how this discussion goes on. So therefore, because Vidura asks this 3 questions, please tell me about Swayambhuva Manu's dynasty, about his sons, about his daughters. So that makes the entire 3rd canto, 4th canto, and 5th cantos. 5th canto's first half. So that's how this chapter continues. Now, so after Vidura makes this request, Maitreya starts speaking. He says, Brahmaji, he asked Kardam Muni to produce progeny. And to produce progeny was not an easy and, very simple thing. Because it is very simple, but to get a good progeny requires austerities. So Kardam Muni went on the bank of Saraswati and did tapasya for how many years? 10,000 years of tapasya to get good progeny. So Prabhupada writes very interesting. He says, we do not know how people can be captivated by, so-called bogus yoga system where people can meditate for 15 minutes daily and they'll get perfection of their lives. How is it possible? Kardam Muni meditated for 10,000 years. Then he got darshan of the Lord. And in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, how can somebody get perfection? Sitting in the homes, meditating for 15 minutes. That is not possible. So therefore, Prabhupada never leaves a chance to give the essence. This age is an age of cheaters and cheated. People want to get cheated, so Krishna sends the cheaters who will cheat them. And therefore, in this purport, Prabhupada gives the simple formula. Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way than to chant the holy names of the Lord. Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Eva Kevalam. So, Swayambhu Kardam Muni, he started doing meditation. And he worshipped the Lord through devotion. We'll recite the 7th verse. Tata samadhi yuktena Riya yogena kardamaha samprapede harim bhaktya prapanna varadashusham tatah samadhi yuktena. By worshipping Lord in trance through devotional service. Samadhi yuktena kriya yogena, and he was performing Ashtanga Yoga. Kriya Yoga means another name of Ashtanga Yoga. Samprapede harim bhaktya. He propitiated, that means he called for the Lord. He requested the Lord to come. And who is the Lord? Prapanna Varada Ashusham. Anybody who surrenders to the Lord, Lord gives him all the benedictions. So that's how the Lord is described here as Prapanna Varada Ashusham. Lord is more eager to give benedictions than we are eager to take benedictions. And Lord is eager to give spiritual benedictions more than material benedictions. Many times when devotees in the initial stages of their practice, when they are not sufficiently learned in the philosophy, they ask for material desires. Sukha sampati gharayave kashtamite. Pehle hamara wahi bhajan hota tha. But now, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we have understood what to ask, what not to ask. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. नया डिवोटी आता है उसको भी हम बोल देते हैं तू भी बोल and he thinks यही सब तो चाहिए मेरे को ना नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. So therefore Lord is Prapanna Varadashusham. Prabhupada writes, of all the yogis, devotee is the best. Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samayukta tamo mataha. So Prabhupada writes, one has to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord in order to achieve real success. And that is a direct method. All the other paths, they are indirect. So many lifetimes it may take by other paths. Bahunam janvanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So many lifetimes it may take to achieve perfection. So therefore, the easiest way and the most direct way is to practice devotional service. That's what Prabhupada writes. And then Prabhupada says that in Kali Yuga, the greatest benediction is given by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has come to give the highest to the lowest. Lord is there in everyone's heart and he knows what is best for a person. Nayavopayantyapachitiim kavayastavesha brahma isha pikritam riddha mudam smarantah yontar bahistanubhritam ashubham vidhunvan acharya chaitya vapusha swagatim vyanakti. So in this, it is described that Lord is so very eager to give guidance to all the living entities. The great sages also cannot describe the merciful nature of the Lord. Kavayas tavesha, kavi bhi nahi bata sakte kitne mahan hai Bhagwan. Even if they get the life of Brahma, still they cannot describe how Lord is merciful. The Lord is there in everyone's heart. Yo antar bahis, inside he is Paramatma, he guides the living entity. And externally, he takes the form of Acharya. He takes the form of spiritual master. And Mahaprabhu has come to, give the highest. He has come himself to teach this, the most important and the easiest way to attain perfection. So that's what Prabhupada writes. Samprapede Hare means Lord Karda Muni satisfied the Supreme Lord by devotional service. And then again Prabhupada writes, who can be successful in this age by performing Ashtanga Yoga? Life is less. प्रायण अल्पायुषा सभ्य कला अस्मिन युगे जना मंद सुमंद मतयो मंद भाग्य उपद्रता, इतना सारा तो क्वालिफिकेशन है हमारा, उसमें कैसे मिलेंगे भगवान? Just by doing 15 minutes of Ashtanga Yoga. And nowadays so many deviations are there in Ashtanga Yoga. I think one time I had shown this video. There is something called as beer yoga nowadays. One hand they have beer, and with the other hand they are doing yoga also. A blend. So many things are coming up. No, there is no conception of God. So Prabhupada is they don't know who is God, to whom they will surrender. So that is how. So then he continues that in Satya Yuga, so Karda Muni, this story comes in Satya Yuga story. So when Karda Muni was doing tapasya, Lord appeared in front of him. And he appeared exactly in the form which is described in the Vedas. Prabhupada writes, Lord didn't appear in an imaginary form concocted by Karda Muni. Lord appeared in the original form, which is not concocted. So that's how Lord appears according to the desire of a devotee in a form which is always existing. It is not that because a devotee wants to see a Lord in, just like nowadays Ganpati Pandal mein kya hota hai? Sometimes Ganpati has a cricket bat also in his hand. Lord is not like that. Lord appears in the form which are mentioned in the scriptures. So Karda Muni, when he takes darshan of the Lord, beautiful darshan is described. He has beautiful lotus-like eyes. He is there sitting, he's standing on the shoulders of Garuda, white lotus garland he is wearing, beautiful eyes. As Kunti Maharani says, Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanitraya, Namaste Pankajangrai. 8 parts of Lord's body are compared with lotus. Netra Nabhi Vadan Karayuga Charan, Hei Ashta Padma Krishna Ange, Karpura Lipta Kamala, Tara Eche Parimala, Sei Gandha Ashta Padma Ange. So Netra, 2 eyes, Nabhi, Vadan, face, Karayug, 2 hands and 2 legs. Karayuga Charan. These are the 8 parts which are compared to lotus. And from the body parts of Krishna, fragrance comes. What is that fragrance? Karpur mixed with lotus. Camphor and the lotus smell mixed together. That is very refreshing. So that is how Lord appeared. Beautiful. And then he is free from all contamination. He has beautiful locks of hair, as Kapila will describe in the future chapters. Yashri Niketamalibi Parisevyamanam Bhutya Swaya Kutil Kuntala Vrinda Jushtam Meena Dvayashrayam Adikshipadabjanetram Karnot Palalaka Dhyayen Manomayamatandrita Ullasadbhu. Shri Niketam, the beautiful face of the Lord, is the abode of beauty. We want to see beautiful things in the world, but we are not satisfied. Only Krishna's beauty can satisfy. Alibhi Parisevyamanam. So Krishna's complexion is blackish and he has locks of hair. They look like bees surrounding the lotus. So that is the description there. And he has eyes which are like fish. Meena Dvayashrayam. The eyes of fish are very big, So that is the description which is given there. Okay, we'll recite the next verse about the glorious form of the Lord. Kiritinam Kundalinam Shankar Chakra Gadadharam Shvetotpala Kridanakam Manasparsha Smitekshanam Kiritinam Kundalinam, adorned with crown and earrings, Shankha, Chakra, Gada. All these things are there. So the Shankha of the Lord is Panchajanya, Chakra is Sudarshan. What is Gada of the Lord called? Gada. Kaumudaki. The Lord's Gada is called as Kaumudaki. And Lord also has a bow, Dhanush. Dhanush ka kya naam hai? His bow is called as Saranga. Saranga Dhanava, इसलिए भगवान को बोलते हैं Saranga Dhanava, who has Dhanush. So he appeared four-handed form, holding Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, Shwet Utpala Kridanakam, and he had a white lily, in his fourth hand. Shankha Chakra Gada and white lily. Utpal. Utpal is lily. Manah Sparsha Smitekshanam. And he was smiling. Smita Ikshana. He was not laughing. Gentle smile. Smita Ikshana. And that smile captivates the hearts of devotees. Whenever a devotee offers beautiful prayers, how does Lord reciprocate? Kunti Maharani offered beautiful prayers in the first canto. How did Lord reciprocate? Just with a smile. Smiley ka bhi, A smile can satisfy a devotee's heart completely. Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they always say, with all our endeavor, if we would see Prabhupada having a smile on his face, that was the perfection. Usi mein santusht hai. So, Manah Sparsha Smita Ikshanam. So when the Lord glances on a devotee, what happens? That glance creates the desire for service. Chandrika Vishadasmerai Saruna Panga Vikshatai Swakarthanam Yuvaraja Sattvabhyam Srishtipalakai. When the Lord glances, that glance creates the desire for service. And when we see the beautiful smile of the Lord, that smile can destroy all the distress we have been suffering in millions of lifetimes. So that is described. So Lord appeared like this, and then he had a golden streak on his chest called Kaustubha. Golden streak is Srivatsa. And he has a Kaustubh gem in his neck. And he is in the air and standing on the shoulders of Garuda. Next verse. Vinyasta charanam bhojam amsha deshe garutmataha drishtva khevasthitam vakshaha shriyam kaustubakandharam. So Vinyasta charana ambhoja. So with his two lotus feet, he is standing on the Amsha Deshe, on the shoulders of Garuda, and Shriyam Kaustubha Kandharam. He has Srivatsa, he has Kaustubha. All these are beautiful decorations on the body of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, these are not imaginations of Kardamuni. Kardamuni is not imagining things. Lord is standing right there. One lady, when Prabhupada went to America and Prabhupada was giving class, so one girl got up and said, Swamiji, when I chant, I see red light. Prabhupada said, keep chanting, that red light will go away. So it is not just an imagination. Spirituality is not imagination. I think it is like this. I'll imagine the form of the Lord. Devotees ask what we should think when we are chanting, what we should do when we are chanting. So somebody asked Prabhupada also, same question. Prabhupada said we don't have to think anything. We don't have to, do anything else. Only one thing. Chant and hear. That's all. So it is not an imagination. Prabhupada writes, decorations of the Lord are beyond material conception. Nothing is material about the Lord. And as soon as the Lord appeared in front of Kardam Muni, he was so very joyful because his desire was fulfilled. To see the form of the Lord is a perfection. Many people, they see the Lord, but the darshan of the Lord transforms a person based on the intentions of the person. Daksha also saw the Lord. Daksha, he prayed to the Lord. He did tapasya for 5 manvantars. After he was after he was killed by Virabhadra, again he appeared from the womb of Marisha, Prachetas. He did tapasya for 5 manvantars. And then when the Lord appeared, he offered beautiful prayers. They are called as Hamsaguhya prayers. 6th canto mein aata hai. But he didn't become a pure devotee. He is also seeing the Lord. He is also offering prayers because his intention was not to ask for pure devotion. So Lord may appear in front of a devotee, but what is the intention of the devotee? So therefore, as soon as Kardam saw the Lord, he felt ecstatic. He fell down, touching his head to the ground, and offered his prayers. And Kardam, what was the desire of the Kardam? Why did he do tapasya? He wanted a wife. Apparently pure materialistic desire. Patni chahiye. Prabhupada bolte hain, Uma ka puja kyun nahi kiya unhone? In this world, if somebody wants good wife, beautiful wife, the recommended process is worship Uma. So why he worshipped the Lord only? Why he didn't worship Uma? Akama, sarvakamo va mukshakam udaradhi, Prabhupada writes there. Even if you have any material desire, approach the Lord, because what is the benefit in approaching the Lord for material things? What happens? Anybody? When we pray to the Lord for material things and praying to devatas for material things, what is the difference?
Maybe it is getting devoted to devotional
Okay. Any other?
Will give you. Krishna may not give you.
If it is
not good for.
Okay, if it is good for us, then we should ask devatas or Lord. Any material desire.
Krishna.
I want a big house. It will be good for my, devotional services. Why, Visha? Why we cannot ask? किसको मांगेंगे फिर?
Krishna only, for whatever we
Material desire है, तो किसको मांगेंगे?
earlier used to have coming to ISKCON. Because
So after coming to ISKCON, now all of you are pure devotees? इच्छाएं हैं कि नहीं? Material इच्छाएं हैं कि नहीं है?
Finally,
तो है तो किसको मांगेंगे?
Krishna only, because finally sanction is from Krishna only.
The difference between asking a devata and asking Krishna about this material desires. Okay, thank you. Sarita Mataji is writing on the group. He transforms and purifies the desires like Dhruva. Yes. So the interesting thing which happens when we pray to the Lord for material desire, Lord will give in such a way, who devotee will say, "Kyun manga yaar? Why did I ask?" Satyam dishatyarthitam arthito nrinam naivartado yat punararthitam yatah swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichchatam ichchapidhanam nijpada pallavam. It is true. Satya hai. Arthitam arthito nrinam. भगवान से अर्थ मांगेंगे तो दे देंगे. बट नैवार्थ दोयत पुनरर्थिताम, ऐसा देंगे ही नहीं कि वापस मांगोगे. So how does he do that? He gives himself. Swayam vidhatte, he gives himself to that devotee. Although devotees say, Anichchatam, I didn't want you. मैं तो आपके प्रार्थना किया, I wanted a good wife or a good house or a good job. Krishna will say, don't worry, that is a free gift. I come with it always. And when Krishna enters the heart, Ichchapidhanam, all the desires get purified. And then devotee says, Kyu mang liya? Like Dhruv Maharaj. Why did I ask this? Sthana Bilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kacham vichinvan api divyaratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam na yache. स्थान के अभिलाषा से आपकी तपस्या किया. After getting you, I have realized that कांच के टुकड़ों को मांगा मैंने. So therefore, even if we have material desires, approach the Lord. नहीं तो मांगे नहीं तो किससे मांगे, क्या करेंगे? Ask the Lord. Lord will give and he'll purify the desires also. So Prabhupada in the purport, he describes how Patanjali yoga system is also Ashtanga yoga. And Ashtanga yoga means what? Actually seeing the Lord in the heart. But current impersonalists, they say we have to meditate on impersonal Brahman. It is not possible. We have to meditate on the Lord. Even Ashtanga yogis meditate on the Lord only. So that is how Kardamuni is very pleased, very happy, and then he starts offering prayers. So we'll recite the prayer of Kardamuni. So first he says, "Oh my Lord, seeing you is the perfection of the eyes." Rishi Uvacha Jushtam Batadya Khila Satvarashe Samsiddhyamakshno Tavadarshananaha Yaddarshanam Janma Bhiridya Sadbhi Ashasate Yoginor Rudha Yoga. So now he's praying. After having attained you, O my Lord, you are Akhil Sattva Rashe. You are the reservoir of all existence. And Samsiddhyam Akshno, the Siddhi, the perfection of eyes, is to have your darshan. Tava darshan. आपका दर्शन करके तृप्त हो गया है, ऐसा बोल रहे हैं, you know. Samsiddhyam Akshno Tava darshanam. And Yad darshanam, this darshan one attains by many births of tapasya. All the great yogis, sages, they are doing tapasya for many lifetimes, then they get this darshan. And I have attained your darshan so quickly. Quickly matlab kitna? 10,000 years. And he's saying, quickly I got your darshan. So therefore we have to be ready to, be patient. Tam stitikshasva dhairya. Be patient in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Aaj bharti aur kal chakrabarti nahi hota hai. It takes time to become a pure devotee and we have to be patient. इसलिए patient नाम अच्छा है ना. Patient cannot demand मुझे आज क्या ठीक करो. Patient. Our काम क्रोध लोभ will take time. Just like when we eat food, it takes time to digest. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी खाया और next meal के लिए ready. No, it takes time to digest. So therefore, the perfection of the eyes is to have darshan of the Lord. As the gopis, they pray, Akshanvatam phalamidam na param vidama Sakhya pashur anuveshyatayor vayasyai Vaktram rajesh sutayor anuvenu justam Yairvani pitam anurakta kataksha moksham. Akshanvatam phalam. The perfection of the eyes is to have your darshan. There is no greater object to see than you, O my Lord. You are the perfection of our vision. And all the, entities of Vrindavan, they are only doing all their services for one thing, to get darshan of the Lord. So darshan of the Lord is the only thing which can satisfy the eyes completely. Otherwise, millions of lifetimes we have tried to satisfy our senses, but still senses are not satisfied. Kamadinam katina katidha palita duranidesha. My senses, my anarthas are such rascal masters. They have not given me retirement even after millions of lifetimes of service. In this world, one gets retirement after 50-60 years of service. Retirement benefit bhi milta hai. But my anarthas, they are such masters, they have not given me retirement. Tesham jata maina karuna na trapa no pashanti, no karuna, no compassion, no peace, no shanti. Utsrijyetanath yadupate. Now by your mercy, O my Lord, I have given up the service to my senses and anarthas. I have come to your shelter. That is the only thing which can satisfy. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, oh, it is the highest mercy of the Lord. And my highest good fortune is to see the Lord so quickly. इतना जल्दी दर्शन हो गया, केवल 10,000 साल तो लगे हैं. So it is astonishing because he is thinking, I have not done my sadhana also properly. You know, that is a mood of a devotee. He never thinks मैं इतना अच्छे से chanting कर रहा हूँ, मालूम है. एक जगह बैठ के I chant all my 16 rounds without even dozing off even for a second. हम तो कभी कभी ऐसा होता है बीच बीच में उठते हैं. Some days we are so tired while chanting. Sometimes we get up in between. Oh, भी कोई उठाएगा तो उठो. And then we say क्या हो गया? You know, I was chanting करो. नहीं, I was chanting. I was meditating. You know. So that's how devotee never feels qualified for mercy of the Lord, and when he receives it, he feels so very grateful. Prabhupada writes, the perfection of all our senses is to engage in service of the Lord. Savai manah Krishna padar vindayo. All the senses have to be engaged in service. That is the only way to purify. Then he says, when all the senses engage in service of the Lord, that is called as bhakti yoga. That is how bhakti yoga. Engaging all the senses in service of the Lord. And that is the only way to cut off our attachments. Etadhi atur chittanam matra sparshe chayamuhu bhavasindu plavo drishto haricharyanu varnanam. Atur chitta, those people who are really distressed, trying to enjoy, but not able to do it. So, to bring such a living entity out of this, Krishna has sent his wonderful pastimes. That's why he appears and performs so many pastimes. Then he recites another beautiful verse. Ye maya yate hatamedha sastva padara vindam bhavasindhu potam upasate kamalavaya tesham rashi shiskama niraye piesu. So then he says, oh my Lord, those people who are hatamedhasa, buddhi jinki bhrasht ho gayi hai, those who have lost their intelligence, you know what they do? They worship you for kamalavaya tesham. They worship you for material desires. What he is doing? He is preparing a ground to condemn himself, because in the next verse he will say, I am that person. He says that those who are intelligent, those who have lost their intelligence, they worship you for material things. Your lotus feet can take one across the ocean of material existence. And if somebody is worshipping you for material things of the world, dhanam janam sundari, then he is the most foolish person. Because such happiness is available even in hell. Narak mein bhi milta hai ye sukh. Everywhere you get some amount of pleasure. Narakasthopi deham vai napumam styaktumichhati nirvrityo narakyam nirvito yasam deva maya vimohita. Even if somebody gets a hellish body of a pig, फिर भी बोलता है इसमें भी कुछ तो सुख है. You know the story when Indra became a pig. And Narad Muni comes and tells her, hey Indra, come back. Just now my wife has given birth to beautiful children. Just see how beautiful they are. Who will take care of them? I'll come later. So the happiness is there in all the species of life. We may be eating rasgulla and halwa and thinking, wow. And the pig is eating his favorite food. And Prabhupada gives a graphic example. बोलू क्या? नहीं, ठीक है, नहीं बोलता. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, oh, people worship you to fulfill their material desires. This is their foolishness. Now, very interesting thing Chakravarti Thakur is writing. But you give them those pleasures. फिर भी आप देते हैं उनको. भौतिक इच्छा मांगते हैं, still you give, although you are reluctant. नहीं देना चाहते हैं आप, still you give. You know why you give? Because you are fearful if you won't give them, they'll give up bhakti. So somehow Lord is thinking, अरे अभी थोड़ा इसको कुछ दूंगा तो भक्ति करता रहेगा. He'll get purified. He'll not ask me of these things again. So therefore, hoping so that these people will lose their material desires, Lord gives them these benedictions. Otherwise, fulfilling the desires is not your final intention. Because the purpose of this material world is what? To fulfill the desires of Krishna, not our. Prabhupada was once telling. So, the purpose of this world to enjoy. Lord has made this world for enjoyment. So, one person was happy. Wow, पहली बार हमारा आज कुछ बोल रहे हैं. Then Prabhupada said, not yours enjoyment. For his enjoyment, he has created this world. Yeah. And his enjoyment is when he sees living entities going back to the spiritual world. So therefore, although he knows, Lord knows, if I'll give him, son, wife, family, prestige, he'll go to hell. Still, interesting thing Chakravarti Thakur writes. If you ask Devtas for these things, you will generate karma. You may go to hell or heaven. But if Lord fulfills the material desires, that does not generate karma. That is interesting thing. And that does not lead to bondage. That is how interesting Lord is. So when Lord fulfills the desires, the sense gratification which is given by the Lord does not bind a devotee. So therefore he says, those who are hatha medhasa, those who are unintelligent, they ask for material desires. But Chakravarti Thakur says, although he gives material desires, that devotee doesn't suffer karmic bondage. So that is how Lord is. And Lord's lotus feet is called as Bhavabdi Potam. It is a very nice boat to cross the ocean of material existence. Deyam sada paribhavagnam avishta dosham tirthaspadam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam Bhrityartiham pranatapala bhavabdi potam vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. One should always meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. Dhreyam sada, hamesha dhyan kariye. Because these lotus feet can take one across the ocean of material existence. So that's how the lotus feet of the Lord are. Then Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are two types of devotees of the Lord. One who has material desires, and one who has no material desires. Dono bhi devotee hai. Chaturveda bhajante mam, 4 types of materialistic devotees. But they both get purified by the process of bhakti. So therefore, only a foolish person asks for material desires. So, although we hear, we think, थोड़ा foolish हो जाते हैं चलेगा. बाद में मांग लेंगे ना भगवान से भक्ति. यन्ना व्रजन्त्यगभिदो रचनानुवादा शृण्वन्ति ये अन्य विषया कुकथा मतिघ्नि. People who have lost their intelligence, they are interested in hearing all the other things of the world. अन्य विषयों को वही सुनते हैं जिनकी मति भ्रष्ट हो जाती है. They've lost their intelligence. That they are called as hatamedhasaha. So therefore, Karda Muni is criticizing those who have spoiled their brain substance. They worship you for material desires. And then he says, actually, I am that person. In the next verse, he says, I am that person. 15th verse. Is there in the list?
No.
15th is? Okay, okay. So therefore, then he is saying, I am criticizing those people, but I am that same person because मैं क्यों आपकी भक्ति किया? I wanted a girl with a suitable disposition, and I wanted to marry a girl which will prove to be like a cow, and she will give all the desires. She'll fulfill all my desires. So he's telling that I want a cow-like girl. That means I'm a bull, and bull means no intelligence. So that's how he is condemning himself. So that's how Prabhupada writes that the phrase like disposition is very significant. And Prabhupada in the purport and in this chapter, many places Prabhupada writes about the married life and how the marriages were arranged, and every boys and girls of similar disposition, they should get married. So that's how. So Lord is so very wonderful. Lord does everything for his devotees. Lord is arranging marriages for the devotees, बोले मुझे शादी करना है, ठीक है, अभी लड़की भी मैं ढूंढ के देता हूँ. So that's how Lord is. In the case of Arjun, Lord arranged for the marriage of Subhadra with Arjun. Prachetas wanted a wife. Lord ने arrange किया, चलो मरीशा आएगी, शादी कर लेना. So Lord is doing everything. साक्षी गोपाल के केस में, अभी झगड़ा हो गया उनके दो ब्राह्मणों के बीच में, and he is taking Lord all the way from Vrindavan to Remuna, and Lord is walking. क्यों? शादी कराना इन लोगों का. Of course, it was not the first reason. So that's how, although Lord is criticizing himself as a materialist, but he's actually not a materialist. Why he wanted a wife? Because it was the order of Brahma. He was not interested in getting married. But Brahma told, you get married and you procreate children. And then he'll say later that actually Brahma is working under your order only, right? So I was following your order. I am not attached to marrying. But I am ready to undergo all the troubles just to please you. That is our devotee is, So when Lord, he appears in front of Kardamuni, seeing the austerity of Kardamuni, he becomes so overwhelmed that he starts crying tears. And his tears become Bindu Sarovar. So that is how Lord becomes so overwhelmed when he sees a devotee who really going so much, beyond his limits to serve him. So that is how Lord is. So Prabhupada in the purport, he describes about married life. He describes the various deciding factors in choosing a partner. And then in some purport, he describes about importance of getting children for Lord's service and various things he describes. Prabhupada says, if one has a nice wife, he is to be considered a most fortunate man. In astrology, a man is considered fortunate who has great wealth, good sons, and a good wife. Of these three, one who has a very good wife is considered the most fortunate. So Prabhupada writes so many purports of married life in this chapter. So Kardamuni wanted to follow the orders of Brahma. That's why he did all the tapasya. 10,000 saal tak tapasya kiye because Brahmaji wanted. And Prabhupada writes in this purport that Kardamuni could have married Uma, but he didn't. He could have worshipped Uma, but he didn't worship Uma. He worshipped the Lord. Because advantage of worshipping the Lord is gradually one becomes purified. So that's how Kardamuni is presenting his situation. Okay, so it is now 7 o'clock. We'll take a few more verses and then we'll stop. So the Lord may say, okay, if that is so, you use your intelligence. Why you do not worship me without any desires? If you know that worshiping me with desires is not good, then why you worship me with desire? So Kardamuni said, actually, I am acting as per the instructions of Brahma. He is telling now. And Brahmaji is acting as per your desire. So I am acting as per your desire. It is not my desire. You only told me through Brahmaji. That's why I am doing this. So that is how everybody in this world is bound by your desires. Whatever you say, they have to do. So therefore, I am just following your instructions. So that's how Kardamuni is presenting his case. And then he says, well, Lord may say that, okay, you become intelligent. Why are you still worshipping me with material desires? He says, my intelligence is not so great. I cannot be like Kumaras. My intelligence is like common person. I am like a bull which is bound by the rope, and whatever master does, if the master pulls the bull has to go. So therefore, I am just helplessly following the instructions which are given by you. So therefore, Kardam Muni, he says that actually I am helplessly following your instructions. And he knows that I have my plans ready. Although I am now following the instructions of Brahmaji and I am getting into married life, but I have my plans ready for renunciation also. And that is what he tells to Swayambhu Manu in the beginning, beginning only. I will marry your daughter, and once I give her children, I will leave. Who will do that? Even before getting married, he is telling this. ये मेरा condition है, शादी करवाना है अपनी बेटी का, तो ये condition है. I leave after I give children to your daughter. Swayambhu also knows, yes, this is the right thing. So he also marries her daughter to Kardam Muni. So he has his plans ready. So in our Krishna conscious life, we should have our plans ready. How should we want to advance in Krishna consciousness? A devotee should be very intelligent to plan his life. How I want to advance. It will not happen automatically. अपने आप एक दिन pure devotee हो गए. We have to plan. Okay, I am doing this much of devotional service because, as we grow in Krishna consciousness, the same amount of devotional service will not be sufficient. We have to increase our devotional practices, either quality or quantity or both. But more than quantity, quality is required. And if we increase the quantity, of course, the quality increases, because if we are spending a good amount of time in something, we'll think anyways इतना समय डाल ही रहे हैं तो अच्छे से करते हैं ना. So that's how Kardam Muni has his plans ready. So Prabhupada writes, a question may be raised. Kardam Muni was advanced in spiritual life. Why then he did not ask the Lord for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy material life? The answer is, not everyone is competent to be liberated. And it is everyone's duty to enjoy according to his present condition. Work at your level. We should work at our level. We should not behave like pure devotees prematurely. If somebody thinks, ये प्रभुजी रोज 64 माला करते हैं, कल से मैं भी 1 बजे उठता हूँ, that will not last long. So we have to work according to our level, and gradually we have to increase. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll continue next time from verse number 17. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
In verse 2, describe the 7 continents, this thing, the 7 divisions of Jambu, this thing, Bhumandal. And the purport is incorrectly written, or what is it? They are describing the 7 continents.
See, Prabhupada writes sometimes purports according to his understanding. We are no one to judge. But scriptures also say the 7 continents means the 7 islands of Bhumandal, starting from Jambudvipa. Okay, so there is a question, I think, Sarita Mataji. You have a question, Mataji? You can speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I just want to ask a general question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
Regarding mixed devotion, just like Jnana Mishra Bhakta or Karma Mishra Bhakta, can it is possible for him to enter into Goloka?
No.
Only pure devotional service?
Yes.
Otherwise, he is eligible to enter Vaikuntha, na, Prabhuji? Is it clear? Is it that?
Okay, I'm just muting you because there's some feedback coming. So only we are on the process of getting purified. The question is, can a mixed devotee enter Vrindavan, Goloka? Only a pure devotee enters Vrindavan. Till the time we are not purified, we have to come back again in this world to get completely purified of our anarthas. And that is the process till the time we are not completely purified. Because in spiritual world, there is no person who is thinking, अरे थोड़ा सा बाद में आते तो अच्छा होता था, जो जल्दी आगे लगता है, just like in every yatra there is a minimum qualification, right? पहले पुणे यात्रा होती थी ना, तो पुणे यात्रा में केवल 16 माला वालों को ही अलाउड होता है ना, बिकॉज इट इज अ वेरी इंटेंस यात्रा. 3 दिन में केवल लेक्चर 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 लेक्चर, घूमना नहीं, कुछ नहीं, लेक्चर एंड लेक्चर एंड लेक्चर. और इफ अ न्यू पर्सन 2 माला करने वाला डिवोटी से चलेगा, मैं भी जा रहा हूँ, इतने लोग जाते हैं, मैं भी चलता हूँ, व्हाट विल हैपन टू हिम इफ ही गोज इन पुणे यात्रा? व्हाट मे हैपन? 2 माला कर रहा है और वहां पे जाके दिन में उसको 10 घंटा लेक्चर सुनना है खाली, छोड़ के भाग जाएगा. वो बोलेगा नहीं बाबा, ये मेरे लेवल के ऊपर का है, मेरा सर फ्यूज मतलब उड़ गया है, So that's how before we get purified, it is mercy of Maya Devi that she doesn't allow us to go till the time we are not completely purified. Nobody in the Vrindavan Goloka complains to the Lord, आपको रात में ही बांसुरी बजानी, दिन में बजा लेते हैं, रात में सोने दो. ऐसा नहीं कि रात में नाव में नौका विहार हो रहा है, पीछे खराटा मार रहा है कोई, तो गोपियां बोल रही हैं आप लोग करो आगे रासलीला, हम लोग थोड़ा सोते हैं. So it is mercy of the Lord and mercy of Yogamaya not to allow us before we get completely purified. It is not easy to go to Goloka. Just to be with a pure devotee, it is very difficult. You ask, servants of Maharajas and the pure devotees, Guru jo log hain, it is not so easy. Because at what level they are working, बलभद्र भट्टाचार्य और महाप्रभु का क्या है सिचुएशन? वही है. वृंदावन गए, महाप्रभु is in Vrindavan and he is in ecstasy, and everyone is coming to बलभद्र भट्टाचार्य asking, अरे महाप्रभु को बोलो थोड़ा हमारे घर पे आएंगे प्रसाद लेने के लिए. तो he gets so many invitations, he is frustrated managing them. प्रतिदिन लोक आयुष्य मोरे पाशे आए, तोमा नहीं पाए लोक मोरे माथा खाए. अरे रोज सुबह लोग आ जाते हैं, आप तो चले जाते हैं वृंदावन दर्शन करने के लिए, आप तो कीर्तन में मग्न है, लोग आके मेरा माथा खा रहे हैं. So that's how we have to understand that before getting purified, it is mercy of the Lord कि हमको लेके नहीं जा रहे हैं. आज ही बोलेंगे बेटा चल, we'll go. How many of us are ready to go to the spiritual world with this consciousness? We'll die of envy. सब लोग इतना भगवान प्रेम कर रहे हैं, इतना भगवान कृपा कर रहे हैं. That is how. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, ek minute. Yes, Mataji, you have a question? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Regarding that only, I was struck with that mixed devotee concept, Prabhuji. If anyone is like a Jnana Mishra Bhakta, he have to leave the process of Jnana, then only he will attain Paramatma, na, Prabhuji? I'm
Yes.
with the Paramatma concept. There also
He'll
he
attain
has
not
to leave
Paramatma.
the
There is
process.
nothing like Paramatma Loka. Jnana Mishra Bhakta attains Brahman. Ultimately.
Okay, then also he has to leave jnana, no? Beside the little bhakti is carrying him there, no?
Yeah, bhakti is the active ingredient. Shreya sritim bhakti mudasyate vibho klishyantiye kevala bodha labdhaye tesham asau kleshale eva shishyate nanyad yatha sthula tushavaghatinam. Anything you do, either jnana yoga or ashtanga yoga or karma yoga, if bhakti is not there, you will not get the result. Bhakti is a active catalyst. So either somebody is a jnani or a yogi or a karmi. भक्ति नहीं है तो उसको रिजल्ट नहीं मिलेगा. And to get pure devotional service, he has to come to the level of bhakti, living jnana. That's how a jnani or a yogi gets purified. When he gets darshan of the Lord in the heart, he has two options: either to give up jnana and practice bhakti, or to continue the path of jnana. So the unfortunate yogi continues to worship the impersonal feature. That is how Kapil Dev describes. Unfortunate yogi does not come to bhakti. So that's the understanding.
Prabhuji, then we see in demigods planets also, in Swargaloka, the mixed devotees are there, no? Because they have a mood of enjoyment, they go, no? Please explain the mixed devotee concept, Prabhuji.
Yeah, mixed means anything which is mixed with devotion. Karma Mishra Bhakta means he wants karma, but he does bhakti also. But the Jnana Mishra Bhakta means the prominent thing is devotion, but thoda sa gyan bhi chahiye. Yoga Mishra Bhakta means he's a bhakta, but he's little bit attached to yogic processes also. So that is how, this is a mixed devotion. Till the time a devotion is not pure, kevala bhakti. Keval bhakti means pure devotion. Till the time a person is not purified of the desire for liberation or mystic siddhis or sense gratification. कर्म मिश्र भक्ति मतलब मुझे भक्ति भी करनी है, लेकिन भक्ति में थोड़ा सा इस संसार का भी सुख मिल जाए तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? That is कर्म मिश्र भक्ति. ज्ञान मिश्र भक्ति, okay, I think I want to do bhakti only, but थोड़ा liberation का भी benefit मिलेगा तो अच्छा है. Yoga Mishra Bhakta means I want some mystic powers also. So that is a mixed devotion. Okay.
So Paramatma really, what is Paramatma realization? Where they will go, Prabhuji? They will enter into spiritual
Paramatma,
planet?
yeah. Paramatma realized people, they go to Brahman. Okay.
Prabhuji.
That's
Okay,
their
thank
destination.
you. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Indra is a
Okay.
position.
Indra is a position,
So
yes.
Indra, then you said the Indra born as a pig. So what was that story?
उधर का position में कोई तो आया होगा ना, for temporary note.
Prabhuji, Paramatma realized means they are meditating on a form. Then how can he'll merge into impersonal? That
They are meditating on the form, but the intention is to merge in Brahman.
okay,
Their
okay,
intention is more important.
mood.
They are
Okay.
taking Paramatma as a means to attain Brahman. Okay. So they'll go
Clear,
to
Prabhuji.
Brahman. They want to merge into Brahman, and they are taking shelter of Paramatma. They are taking
Even
it as a
demigods
means.
also, na Prabhuji. Even demigods also. Even they'll have bhakti, but their intention is different because of enjoyment mood. They will enter into the demigod planet.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
higher
Correct.
demigods. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
The
Prabhuji.
principal demigods are pure devotees. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, they are all pure devotees. They'll go back to the spiritual world after this life. All the other people like us, if we have some desires to enjoy,
But
as
why
Prabhupada told.
why they are exhibiting like if we see the past times, the Indra is exhibiting like proud like time. It's all God's will.
Yeah, I understood. If some of your friend meets you after 10 years, you're not devotee. So and then ये पता है ये पहले क्या क्या करता था ये? पहले अभी तो एकदम साधु हो गए. So when we see here in Bhagavatam all these stories of Indra doing all the garbad, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. So we should not think इतना ये तो मुझे भी समझ रहा है, इसको क्यों नहीं समझ रहा है इतना simple सा चीज. But that is just a past. They get purified. All the big sages, all the big devotees who did garbad, Yayati, running after Urvashi, Pururava, sorry, Yayati, asking for a youth from his own son. बेटे को मारा मुझे, I want to enjoy, please give your youth. And then Pururava is running after Urvashi. Shobari is marrying all the 50 daughters of Mandata. ये सब pure devotee के लिस्ट में आते हैं. Second canto में ब्रह्मा जी बोल रहे हैं ये सब लोग ना, they understand about the Lord. They are pure devotees. So that is just a part of their life. They become purified of it.
Maybe initially they were in the positions, but their mood is not correct, but it will transform later. That is what you're telling,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, yes.
That means we can consider them, the principal demigods, as pure devotees.
Yeah, we should never ever judge the person. All the pastimes of Bhagavatam for our sake.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Never ever judge the person. Take the lessons from those people, because they will get purified. And but if we judge them, we'll go to lower
Will fall
destinations.
down. Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, Karuna Mataji has a question.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask that when Lord gives darshan to Kardam Muni, he is in a four-handed form. And even to Devaki, when he gives darshan, he is in four-handed form only first. So which is the original one, the Tribhanga form or the four-handed form?
Original means?
Which is the form of the Lord? Some say that the Tribhanga form is the real form. And this four-headed form is Vishnu form.
So the Krishna is the original form. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So that is the understanding, and all the avatars of the Lord, they are coming from Krishna. So that is the understanding. Okay.
Prabhuji, if Krishna is the origin, no doubt he is
Krishna is
the
the
original form, but Vrindavan Krishna is the fully manifested one. No, from
Yes.
him, then why in the first canto, first 1.1.1, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, in the purport of the first paragraph, the Prabhupada has given, he is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Why it's not mentioned like Yashoda Nandan?
Okay. In this world, whenever Lord Krishna is also described, he is described as Devaki Putra only. Because Vishnu avatars, if anybody wants to leave, they can leave. No problem. Because in this world, Vishnu is a predominating deity. Even when the gopis are addressing Krishna, they are telling Vishnu only. They are also telling Devaki Putra. So that's how Devaki Putra means they accept that he is born as a son of Devaki. So it doesn't mean that in the spiritual world also he is a son of Devaki. In this world, because it is the world of Vishnu, Vishnu is a predominating person. He is the administrator. So whenever Vedas, they refer to Krishna, it is referred to as Vishnu. So in one sense, Vishnu and Krishna is same, but whenever Krishna is addressed, he is addressed as Vishnu only in the Vedas. अभी हम लोग तुलसी आरती में क्या गाते हैं? वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च
Krishna Bhakti,
Vishnu Bhakti. It is not Krishna Bhakti, it is Vishnu Bhakti. But we know that this Vishnu is Krishna only. So that is the understanding.
But we have to understand in the mood of our acharyas, no, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
because we deal with only Goloka Vrindavan, Tad Dama, Vrindavan Dama, Tad Krishna, which is Vrindavan Krishna. So our mood is to what is the, for every word there will be multifaceted. We take only Vrindavan Krishna like that, Prabhuji.
Yes. We have to understand in the mood of our acharyas. So we have to take shelter of our acharyas. Arsha Praman is very important. Arsha Praman means Praman given by all the acharyas. So whenever there is confusion, we have to learn from the acharyas. What does it actually mean? Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Rasham Bhagavatam ki jai.